Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here on this Friday the 13th. And I don't know about you, I always look on Friday the 13th as just the opposite of what people say of bad luck. I always think about it's going to be a special day where a lot more good things happen than normal. So hope you have that kind of Friday the 13th. And you look at it either way you want to, but that's just the way I look at it. Weather brought to us by Hayden Technical Center. We're going to do short weather. It's going to be high today about 91 and low tonight about 76. Water temperature remains around 82 degrees. Now, say we're going to do a different show today, and this is something I've been wanting to do since we started the show 6 or 7 years ago, and talk about our Panhandle heritage. And I've been wanting to go out and do it and just talk to some of these old timers. You know, I started doing that when I did the book right here. I think most of y'all know how I went out and just started interviewing people and have a lot of them on tape and all. And what I want to do is put some of this on video and show it different things the old timers did back in the day. I want to do a whole segment called Panhandle Heritage, and I plan on doing once a month. I have a show on Panhandle Heritage, but it's taken a lot longer to do this than I had anticipated. We're going to show you one today. Now it took us it took us a lot of time to do it. I won't go into all the details, but one of the things back in the day here locally, and we talked about the rich heritage we have here along the coastline, and that's where I actually settled. The early settlers came here on the coastline, and they had to build their own boats. They had to, make their own nets. They had to, get their line and all, and they hand lined the fish and did all kinds of things that we just take for granted today when we want to do something. And net making was always fascinating to me. How I would talk to some of the old timers, and a lot of times they would spend easily 2 months making the net. They were tied all together and all making the net. And it was a big deal to them. And it was very important, that net was. They did it because they had to have food. They was not doing anything fancy. They made a net because of necessity. So I knew there's a couple of guys still here in town that made nets the old-fashioned way. And one of the guys, of course, Bert Waltney makes nets, and Bill McNeil. And Bill McNeil and I've been friends a long time. I wanted to go by and interview him. So Gail and I went by, spent the morning with him. And Bill McNeil is going to go over how he makes nets. Now, this is fascinating to me. We're going to just start dedicating it maybe every month or two, like I said, some kind of Panhandle heritage where people are still doing these things. There's only a handful all along the coast here of men that are still making nets. So when we get into video, you'll see we'll take our time and interview Bill, and Bill tells some old stories and all. He's a St. Andrew native, originally from here, and his family's been fishing a long time. And Bill does a great job with this. He's passing this on to his son, and his son is starting to do it too. So hopefully we'll get the heritage will continue with that through that family. I know, and Bert Waltney still does a lot of good nets. So and now they get guys coming from Alabama, from Atlanta, from Tallahassee, from all over the place coming down and buying the nets because they're handmade. Now you can go down to a box store and buy a machine-made net if you want to, but these are handmade nets, and that's all I'm going to fish. That's all I'm going to throw, these handmade nets. So listen, let's sit back and relax and enjoy this Panhandle Heritage segment, okay? Let's roll this, Jeff.
Your vision is precious. If an emergency arises, you don't want to be sitting in a hospital waiting room. Accidents and injuries can happen outside of your workday. That's why our team of physicians provide emergency eye care to our patients anytime, day or night. You can count on your local experts in eye care to be there for you whenever you need us. The Eye Center of North Florida.
9 doctors, 1 vision, yours.
At Panhandle Educators, we offer full-service banking.
We're 5-star rated.
A safe place for your money.
Find us anytime, anywhere.
Or come see us on Highway 77 north of the mall. On the east side, across from Rutherford High School.
Come see us at the beach on R. Jackson Boulevard.
We're here in Southport on Highway 77.
Live or work in Bay, Holmes, Jackson, or Washington County? You can be a member.
Join us. We'll take care of you.
Panhandle Educators Federal Credit Union.
Come join the Panhandle Outdoors team. Beat the rush and stock up on our team shirts and hats in a wide variety of colors and sizes. For your convenience, we offer a Panhandle Outdoors shop at panhandleoutdoors.net. Simply visit our website and click shop.
You can also check out our selection at Sunjammers Water Sports on Panama City Beach. Come join the Panhandle Outdoors team.
We are so lucky to live in North Florida. We have some of the best fresh and saltwater fishing in the world. My biggest problem is not catching fish, but trying to decide what kind of fish I want to catch. No matter what I'm after, I always stop at Sunjammers Water Sports first. They have just what I need: rods and reels, line, tackle, and most important, live bait. Yes, sir, we sure are lucky.
Hi, today I'm here with a good friend of mine, Bill McNeil. How about it, Bill?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Doing good. Now, Bill is old St. Andrew fella, and I've known him for a long time. We go way back to when our kids, our boys were little, played mid-city baseball. It seemed like years ago, but yeah, it seemed like only yesterday.
Right.
And we got to know each other then, and Bill's one of the last guys that I know of, and one of the last guys around that's still making cast nets. So we're here today to visit with Bill. We're in his net shop. And we're going to get a good interview with him, and he's going to show us what's going on. Bill, how long have you been doing cast nets?
Well, Winston, I've been throwing cast nets longer than I've been doing them. Back years and years ago, I had an uncle that needed the nets for practically the whole family. But when I was about 18, 19, he told me I was old enough to get my own net. So ever since then, I'll be 75, August 5th. Ever since then, I knitted nets for years and years and years. And then Bert Gwaltney. Bert's a very talented friend of mine. He's the first guy that I know of around here locally that started making monofilament nets. And he worked with me in Arizona, but we was born and raised together as kids right on up. He told me one day, he said, you need to get in these monofilament nets. Bert, I'm hard to change, you know. But I let him talk me into it. I got me some whip, and he showed me how to cut one out. I said, man, this is a ticket. So I got into them, and then from that, people got me to want me to build one, this, that, and other. And yeah, probably, let's see, I've been retired 15 years. 30 years ago, I got into these monofilament nets, and I just built up a business, mostly building good nets. Nets that I like.
Clay O'Neill's Land Clearing. When you need land clearing, pond digging, road building, or any type of excavation, Clay O'Neill's Land Clearing is fully equipped to handle it. If the job is big or small, he covers it all, serving the Florida Panhandle from Madison County to Escambia County. He's just a phone call away. Hey, thanks, Clay, for another job well done.
Harold Milling Company, rough and tough dog food. Harold Milling Company builds it. They build hog feed, they build dairy feed, they make chicken feed. They have specialty feeds for rabbits. If you got a worm farm, grandmother used to have a worm farm. Look at the Harold Milling Company. You want to go down and get you, the dog's not running anymore. That's all over with. You want to get that 16% and drop down from the 26% protein. You don't want over to get fat. Harold Milling Company, you can buy it at almost any feed store in the Panama City area.
Come join the Panhandle Outdoors team. Beat the rush and stock up on our team shirts and hats in a wide variety of colors and sizes. For your convenience, we offer a Panhandle Outdoors shop at panhandleoutdoors.net. Simply visit our website and click shop.
You can also check out our selection at Sunjammers Water Sports on Panama City Beach. Come join the Panhandle Outdoors team. When you stop by Blue Water Outriggers, you will find everything for your outdoor adventure. Stock up on all your favorite brands and shop for some of the latest outdoor gear and accessories. You can also shop online and have your orders delivered straight to your home. Our flagship store is nestled right off of Highway 98 in the Port City Shopping Center, just steps away from the Port St. Joe Marina. You will love our selection, our prices, and our friendly service.
Bill, we were talking about the evolution of nets back a long time ago. The old timers, they made them Out of what kind of material?
Back when I was a boy, all of the nets was knitted out of cotton because that nylon hat came out. And there was a brand, it was called Sea Island was the brand, and everybody just said Sea Island cast nets, you know. And but then when nylon came out, right to start with, they didn't have a bonding agent on it, and it would, the knots was bad to slip when you was sewing them up. But pretty quick, they made a bonding agent that went on the nylon, and it'll just draw down.
So now this is like a nylon net here.
It's time and all that, you know. And it's cut out and actually looks like in panels.
No, it's not a very big one, but it's convenient. It's leather up in here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's no leather. That's a small horn, but it's you know, for its time, it's fine. But this is something that's, I don't believe I've ever saw a spacer built without a leather. You know?
Well, good.
I don't believe I've ever saw one like that.
Okay, one of the disadvantages, you showed me one of the disadvantages of a nylon net. What would it be?
They get heavy, they soak up water. As they get wet, it get heavier on you. But now if they're fresh dipped in varnish, it's got to break that varnish apart and some, but then it goes to get worse. But the varnish makes them stiffer, you know, and they throw better.
Bill, now I noticed you have boxes and boxes of webbing. Tell us real quick about your webbing and all you have here.
Well, you webbing, I have to order my webbing different depths for the different lengths of the nets. Some of it be like making 8 or 9 foot net, some of it be like 10, some 12. I lay it out and I cut pie-shaped tapers, you know, and sew them together. The most popular webbing I make nets out of nowadays is 1/8" bar, which is a 2 1/4 inch stretch mesh, because it'll catch a medium-sized silver mullet up, you know.
Okay. All right, Bill, you got your webbing all laid out. What's your next step?
Okay, you cut pie-shaped panels. You start with like 4 meshes at the top and cut it out on the taper all the way to the bottom, and that widens it out. You cut 8 of them out, and then you got to trim them up where you can sew them together. And then you start sewing it up. Now, small nets don't take all that long, but some of these nets will take 8 or 9 hours just to sew it up, you know.
Wow.
And you spend 1 hour and a half, 2 hours cutting it out. So you're looking at 10 to 12 hours just cutting the net out and sewing it up.
Wow.
But then we got pour the leads, and I pour my own leads. I got a lot of lead molds, different size lead molds. They're homemade molds, but that I use because I can make them different weights by having the different size and weights of the mold.
Right.
Bert Walton is the only person I know of around here that's got a bunch of molds too. Bert's a very, very, very good net maker. Very good person. Then when we get the cut out, trimmed out, you start sewing on it. And 12-foot bag net is actually about 14-foot deep webbing, because you got to allow for the pocket on the bottom. But it'll take me about 50 minutes per panel just to sew it up. You know, we mold the lids, and then we come in and string them up. You can see here, I'm starting to hang in this bait net for a guy, putting the lead line on it. Then when we get the lead line on, we'll dip it. That's when I dip in varnish, and when it dries, then I got this, I make up my brails and tie them in it, you know, and the net's finished. You string your lids up, let them string them up, then as you start hanging, you pull them off, you know, count them off.
Yeah.
And then when you get the lead line up, you mark each hanging on there, each where you tie a knot, you mark it.
So each one of these markings is going to be a knot.
That makes your net balanced. Every net is exactly the same, spaced apart, exactly the same. And believe it or not, balance in a net, cat net, makes a world of difference in the way it throws.
On your lines here, Bill, how far apart how'd you know to do all your lines?
Well, it's simple math. Winston, you, like a 12-foot net, you get your diameter, then you multiply that by 3.14 and get your circumference. And then every how many leads that you're going to put on it to get the weight, you divide that into the circumference, and it gives you exactly how far apart they need to be.
Okay.
All the way around the net. And my nets, like I say, they're balanced. Cast nets needs to be balanced.
Okay.
I've seen nets other people have built different places that's been brought here, and they're not really balanced lead lines, and consequently they don't throw as good as what I build or Bert built.
Okay.
Bert and I built exactly the same net. In fact, Bert showed me how to cut out the monofilament nets. When I got that webbing, he showed me how to cut one out. Of course, then on I had it.
Bill, tell me first about your net needle, and you said your dad used to have some old needles.
Well, when I was a boy, they didn't have these type needles, you know, molded needles. Everybody, Daddy, he carved our needles out of second growth hickory. He wouldn't have nothing but second growth because he said it was stronger. When they came out with these, we called them plastic. Well, the first one was plastic. They broke pretty easy, but now they've got Delrin and stuff that's strong. You might get 10 years out of a needle now, you know, use them. This needle here is probably 12 years old.
So now you got your line hanging, you got your webbing, so just show us what.
Yeah, I got this already marked off. You have to have, you mark your lead line off where everything will be exactly the same distance apart. And I use those paint stirring paddles for different size leads, different lengths apart, you know, and so every one of them don't hang the same distance, you know.
Well, you're looking at what has almost become a lost art in America, in hanging a net here. Not many people are doing this, and it is an art.
What's really become a lost art is people that knows how to mend them, how to patch nets.
So you're hooking every little web there.
You throw 2 hitches around the lead line, and then you come with a 3rd hitch to tighten it up, you know. So that makes it good and strong. These bait nets, you need them, the webbing tight to the lead line, because catching them small baits, you know, if you got a big loop between each one, a lot of them will get out and stuff like that. But you get these are bait nets. I get a little bit more for them than I do the mullet nets, but there's a lot more work. I was thinking a couple of days ago, this net here, I sell this net for $200. When I built the first one of these nets, probably 12, 13 years ago, I got $200. Now, stuff's went up a lot on me since then. I got thinking, you know, sooner or later I might have to go up. I'm gonna wait till the economy gets a little better. I've talked several times about quitting, and the people said, my God, where are we gonna get our nets?
Now you're tying it off now?
Well, this I'm running out on this needle, so I got another one to twine on it over there. But that will slip, square knot by itself. You can put pressure on it and make it slip. But you can take your longest loop, come around the line, back up through it, just throw 1 hitch, and that stops it from ever slipping. You can pull all you want to against it, then you can't make that knot slip then. And they say a dog's man's best friend, but it ain't a good pocket knife.
When you think of a successful hunting season, two things come to mind: Browning and C&G Sporting Goods. Browning is the best there is, and C&G Sporting Goods is your factory direct, full-line Browning dealer. C&G stocks Browning guns, camo, knives, scopes, gun safes, bows, and much more, including hunting and fishing license. Look over the new Browning BAR camo short right and X-Bolt rifles. Why pay good money for anything less than a Browning? Browning and C&G, the best there is. Home of the experts.
Are you still waiting to do something with your IRA, 401k, annuities, or other investments?
My dad has an economics degree from Vanderbilt University, and he helped me with my homework. A lot of people call themselves financial planners, but my dad passed a board exam to be a certified financial planner. He's very easy to talk to, and he spends a lot of time with me.
To my existing clients, thank you for your friendship and loyalty through these uncertain times, and to everyone else, don't wait until it's too late. Call me today, and let's see if I can help.
Bill Kramer needs to buy vehicles outright or take them in on trade. Our pre-owned business is great, and we need your vehicle this week to supplement our pre-owned inventory. Get a 15-minute no-obligation appraisal. We're buying Fords, Chevys, and Cadillacs. We're buying Toyotas, Nissans, BMWs, and more. You name it, we'll buy it. All years, all models. Nothing too old, nothing too new. Bill Kramer is buying them all, and we will not be outbid at Bill Kramer's Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC.
Sunrise to sunset. A walk through nature takes you on a journey of Florida's Emerald Coast. You'll encounter the wildlife, birds, lighthouses, indigenous to the beautiful land and seascapes of Florida. Set to the sounds of nature and enhanced with easy listening music. Only $14.95 plus $4.95 shipping and handling. NatureWalkDVD.com or send check or money order to the address on the screen. A walk through nature. Visually stunning.
I just thought it was special. You know, we all have an opportunity to go to these superstores and all and buy these nets made overseas and all. I just feel like it's so important, folks, to get a net like this from someone who's local, who's been here a couple of generations, and it's actually handmade here locally. I'm just proud to own mine. I just love throwing mine, and like I said, we bought it for gifts and all. So this is really neat. We're here watching this with Bill doing it.
Yeah, Weston, people knows about me up down the coast. There was a guy come over from Tallahassee week before last and bought 3 nets. Now he had seen a man throwing my nets at Lanark. And the guy that was throwing it was an old retired grouper boat captain. And he gave him my phone number, you know, and all. So he called me, and he came, got 3 nets. And there's a guy from Tallahassee. His son lives here. He come by yesterday and he said, "Daddy wanted one." So I'm getting in Tallahassee now. These guys that goes down to the coast and cast nets. They're gonna start buying my nets.
I know you. A lot of folks up in Alabama coming down here getting.
I sell them in Alabama. I've even shipped them to Tennessee, South Carolina.
You know, Bill, we talk about living on the coast and the heritage that we've all inherited from all the families and all, and cast netting is a strong part of our heritage.
Oh yeah, I can remember when I was young and all. There was families around here that there'd be days they wouldn't have nothing to eat if they didn't go to baby cast net and catch some mother deets, you know, and whatnot.
Yeah.
And they didn't use cast nets to catch fish to sell. They caught fish to eat, and it was just families trying to have one. And a lot of times then the women in the family, the wives and stuff, knitted the nets because it took so long to knit a hand-knitted net. You know? If you could turn out a hand-knitted net in a month and a half, you was really pouring it on, you know. And Tim and I together, we'll build 12, 14 a month.
Yeah.
Of these type nets here, you know.
Yeah. Well, there's so many of those St. Andrew families that relied on that net. I know when I was doing the book, how many of them told me how net fishing was so important to them.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
All right, Bill. Once you get your line, once you get it all tied in and all,
right.
what would be your next step?
All right. The next step after we get this lead line on the net is we dip it, hang it up, and let it dry. Next step after we dip the net, and it dries, I make the brails up on this jig, and then I have to take them under the carport where I can spread it out, and then I tie the lines on. I make these spacers myself out of plexiglass, some of them, different types of material, but usually 1/4 inch.
And then your swivels.
The swivels, I buy them. I try to buy, this is a 12-aught swivel. I like to be sure, and I use 150-pound test monofilament, because I don't think you should be any chance of your monofilament breaking or with a load of fish, because it's not entirely impossible. And the fact is, one guy I know caught over 600 pounds of mullet one time at one throw with one of these long brail nets.
Goodness gracious. You just bring it all the way down.
I bring it all the way down, and you go through, to start off, you go through just one hole, up through the swivel. And then back through a hole right beside it. Do this 13 times and you've got your 26 holes filled on that space.
Okay, you do it 13 times.
Yeah, you put 13 trips like this, it'd be 26 brails, because you actually put 2 brails in one trip. Do this 13 times and you've got your 26 holes filled on that space.
Okay, you do it 13 times.
Yeah, you put 13 trips like this, it'd be 26 brails, because you actually put 2 brails in one trip.
And this makes me want to go home and throw my net this afternoon. All right, Bill, now you got your braille lines, so now you tell them you take it, you got everything now, you take it all outside.
To my carport. Okay. Out of my carport, and I stretch it out over a lawn chair where it'll be up off the ground in the center. And I take my brails out there and thread them through the horn. And that way is I separate the brails and tie them to the lead line all the way around the distance that I want. And then you go along and secure them, tie them tight, very tightly to the lead line. And then all you do is bring it in here and put the hand line on, and it's ready.
All right, folks, we're going to wrap up our visit here with Bill McNeil, master net builder and lifetime resident of
St. Andrews.
Okay. Bill, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for coming out. You're old friends, but we don't get to see each other regular enough, I don't think.
I agree, and I appreciate you get to watch the show every morning.
Practically. One morning recently, I slept through it, and that's a very rare occasion.
Okay, we appreciate you watching it, and folks, you want to get one of these handmade quality nets from Bill McNeil. The number is 872-9306. But we'll talk more about that on the show. But this is how you make the nets, and this is just one of our last folks that make the nets now. So Bill, thank you.
You're very welcome, and I appreciate y'all coming, and very glad to see you.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.